Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Fed Up with me, the Eternal Miserable One. Joining me today is Eric, the drummer for Lower 13 Groove, progressive thrash band from Ohio. How's it going today, man?
It's going well. How about you?
It's not going bad. Could be better, as I was just saying off air with a throat, but yeah, not bad, man. Something that I always start with when I'm talking to guests is the artwork, and this is an interesting one, the cover for Deception, because what I can see, I could be totally wrong here, so I'm going to apologize in advance if I completely butcher the artistic creation here, but it looks like some kind of piranha, really rabid one, as if it's like chasing something. You know, when you see like the light in front of its teeth. And then I like how the lettering for Lower 13 is in the top left, and then the name of the album below. It's kind of got this like very kind of piranha shark feel, I guess. Have I just absolutely butchered that? Is that what it is, or is it something completely different?
It's close. It's a deep sea anglerfish.
Right. Oh, man. Yeah. Who did that for you?
We had an artist in Germany create that
Yeah.
one.
Oh man, that's nice. And did you have that idea, or did they just come up with that themselves?
So a good friend of ours that helps us out behind the scenes pitched that to us, and we were like, "That works." Deception, because they have the little light bulb, and they
Yeah.
lure the fish into the light bulb,
Oh
and
no, yeah. Now I know which one you're on about. Yeah. See now, yeah, that flows perfectly, and it's got like a really sinister edge to it as well, man. Yeah, really beautiful one.
thank you.
There's something I noticed when I listened through to the EP is you seem to. I hope this doesn't insult you, but I can hear a mix of Trivium, later era Machine Head, even with a bit of Chimera thrown in as well. So I just wondered, you know, were these any of your influences? Because there's quite a range there. You obviously can hear the groove, bit of the thrash and prog. I would imagine there's many more. So is this just something you've always naturally done when you've played your music? All of these different elements have just come through.
Yes, of course. So we grew up loving Trivium, Bullet, Machine Head,
Yeah,
bands from that
nice.
era were kind
Yeah,
of the big ones when we were coming up. Like in
yeah,
high school, would have been like circa 2006, 7, 2008. So that was like the height of those bands, I would say. So they,
yeah,
they had a big impact on our sound, and then also bands like System of a Down, some of the proggier bands like Periphery, and
yeah,
different kinds of things over the years. Gojira.
yeah. Gojira, definitely, man. Nice. I've got to say the nerd in me. We'll get back to your music in a minute. But I've eagle eye. So is that a Godzilla t-shirt? That's the first question.
Yes, it is.
Awesome, man. And in the background, can I possibly see miniatures there of some? I see the pop figures at the. I'm going to take a guess. What miniatures are they underneath? Please.
So there's some DC McFarlane multiverse figures in there.
Oh man! First, when I first saw and I saw your cabinet, I thought Warhammer 40,000 at first, and then when when you've moved, I thought no, it's not that. I thought what is it? Now you've just said DC. Oh man, awesome! Batman hoodie at the
Thank you.
moment.
Oh, there
So
you go. I
yeah,
could
yeah.
actually show you if I flip this around here. Got
Oh my god! Oh man, I've got
got
those. I've
these
got.
guys.
Oh dude, I've got a lot of them. Not like every single one, but oh man, yeah. That's Batgirl. Dude, I boxed them up recently because the trouble I had, I didn't have a cabinet like that you have, which I could do with so well. So they were stuck out on the shelf, just gathering dust all the time, and I was running out of room because I was getting all the variants of Batman, everything in the Bat family. Nightwing, for example, Red Hood, and Batgirl and Batwoman and so on. Even what's a recent dude who's like he like wears the kind of armor suit. Oh god, but it's
Hmm.
I've forgotten his name now. I'm trying to think. Did I put that away? Yeah, I did. It's got like isn't much to go on. It's like a almost a yellow and grey tactical suit.
Oh, the Signal, Duke
Yeah, yeah,
Thomas.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, I haven't got him everything, anything Batman wise. So, but yeah, they're all now in like all these like vacuum seal bags, and I've had to put them away because I've just got so many. I've still, as you've probably seen in the background, I've got a Spider-Man out there. Um,
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, that's one of the few things remaining from any kind of, I guess, comic stuff at all. But heavily had a lot of DC. That's awesome. Oh, right, we'll get back to your music. Don't worry. I just saw that and I thought, that got me amped, man. So, um, what I just wondered, starting with the first track, "More Time." This has a very impactful chorus. Um, and what I could hear, in the lyrics, kind of like how time can just pass. So I just wondered if you could tell us a little bit about the inspiration for that track. Did you all work together on it lyrically, and then we can get into the music as well?
Yeah, of course. So lyrically, my guitar player writes a lot of the lyrics, but my bass player also writes a lot of the lyrics too. I want to say my bass player wrote the lyrics for More Time. A lot of our lyrics deal with just kind of like introspection, like the personal experiences and feelings and things we've been through. And even I personally don't write the lyrics, but I can always relate to what they come up with.
Yeah. So like those common life experiences, kind of part of the human experience, isn't it? Everyone can always find something relatable in them, and it's a good way to open up the EP. It's got that nice, as I say, that nice mellow chorus with the heavier riffs, your drumming coming through as well. So when the lyrics are wrote, do you then look at the music that I don't know how you do it, because some bands, they'll make the music first, others write the lyrics, then add the music later. Which way do you do it?
We do a little bit of everything. A lot of times it'll start with the music. There are times lyrics are written first, and then they get molded to a song idea
Nice.
musically. So there's really no rules when it comes to the way we make our music.
That's a very interesting answer, because usually, a lot of the people that have been on the show, they'll either say, "Yep, we have the music first, we have all the music made, then we write the lyrics next," and then I've had other people say, "No, we get all the lyrics, then we do the music." So seems to be you go in the moment, whatever you feel is best, adapt. I imagine, go back and forth with each other, say, what works, do we need to change this, and so on.
Exactly. We're very collaborative in the way we work. And if something's just not jiving, we're always able to just be like, okay, this riff works better here, or we need to trim this part down, or just to try to make the best final product that we can.
Yeah, and do you think that would be one of the best advices you could give to a band coming in the scene, to build a strong relationship with each other, where you can edit when necessary, go back and forth with your ideas?
Definitely. We found that collaboration is key, and to not have egos about what you come up with, because then that way the song comes out better off for it, I think.
Yeah, and then a lot of bands can implode when that happens as well, because the ego becomes bigger than the actual band.
Exactly.
So as a drummer, I don't know if you play any other instruments, but when you see the lyrics, or you have a track title in mind, does that affect how you perform the drums? Is there particularly a rhythm structure that you do to go along, especially with the song? I'd imagine it's when you hear the other riffs as well, thinking, how can I come in on this section?
Yeah, the drums also kind of have a fluidity to the way they're created. A lot of times, my bass player, he's kind of our structure guy. So when he writes a riff, he programs drums to the riff like the way he hears it in his head. So a lot of times that's like my foundation, and then I'll kind of adapt from there. Or if I have a better, or like an idea that I had to implement, then I'll throw it at them and see if it works well. And there's even been times where I was playing a random beat and then they came up with a riff because of that. So like,
Nice.
there are no rules here.
So it's
that's my cat, by the way. If you see me like dodging out of the way, I have my cat like right here vying for my attention. So just a heads up.
It's all right. The funny thing, I was just about so that would be the second cat that's been on the show. A few years ago, we interviewed a Canadian band, and funnily enough, they were a bit of a proggy band as well. And halfway through the show, he was sat there, and his cat just jumped on him, and it was on his shoulder to shoulder, and it was attacking him.
Like what she's trying to do.
We just went with it, man. We had a dog appear. the other week. It's all good. Just say, yeah. Probably wants to ask a question. Oh, there's the tail.
Yep.
Well, this is going to be an interesting one today.
Yes, I might be just a little bit distracted.
Yeah. People like, man, this will this will be good for the description when I write it later. Like, we talked about something, and then there was a guest appearance from Eric's cat. Like, yeah, I'm always interested in how bands put the music together with the themes, how that influences the playing and structure. I always found that quite fascinating, actually. So it was a very interesting answer I thought you gave. It seems to be that you have almost like even like how they do in jazz, where they've got that free flow, and it's very much on the spot, and then it just kind of happens, and that song is formed. So that's pretty cool, man. And excuse me for one moment before I ask the second question. Maybe your cat can cover for me for a moment. Excuse me, folks. Disclaimer for everyone out there. Still recovering from the flu, which I'm saying in pretty much every episode lately. So the next one, Your Love's a Curse. Now, I thought this is it's a powerful track title. It's got those, I feel, universal concepts that we can all relate to, particularly from a relationship perspective. I could be way off here, but I'm guessing maybe this is about a failed relationship or somebody who's been in that kind of relationship where they love the person very much, but that person isn't right for them, or maybe there is another layer to them. They've like got a good and a bad side, and like their love's a curse. They love that person, but sadly that person isn't going to change for the better. Would that be any of the inspiration and influences behind that song?
Yeah, that's definitely a good interpretation of that. It really stems from I hate speaking for my guys when I don't write the lyrics, but but it does stem from relationships and things not working out sometimes, and moving on from those things, and life changes, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Which one? I'm curious. How I'm obviously going to go through all the songs on the EP with you, but which one did you enjoy the most? Recording the drums for?
That's tough.
Difficult one. Just put you on a spot.
such a whirlwind that day, because those are some of the hardest songs that I have done to date. So like I was just hyper focused on the whole thing. I'd say More Time is probably my favorite one to play.
Yeah.
I want to say that's the first one I recorded that day too. So that kind of got me in the momentum of tracking the drums.
Wow. And how would you say, because I was looking at some of your early material, and there's some great album covers on them as well, especially on Restore the Order. I thought that's a fantastic cover. So
thank you.
You're very welcome. In your opinion, how would you say the sound has maybe evolved or differed from those early releases?
Sure. So I think our sound has been taking shape, across our career. I think we really kind of found our niche of like what we sound like as a band on our second record, Reach an End, and then kind of from there we've just adapted it and refined it over time. So we've just found ways to play more technically as the years have gone on, and we've gotten better, and trimming the songs down to kind of like to the point, to where they're not like too long, or things of that nature, things we've learned throughout our development.
Yeah, something I'm trying to do sometimes with my conversational ability. Trim down and get to the point. Very, very difficult at times, because I'm a naturally free-flowing air polluter, I guess, in that sense. You've got some good merchandise as well for Deception. Now I can clearly see the fish that you were talking about earlier. You've got a long sleeve for it. You've also got a tee in a different color, which is nice. The EP name on the back of it as well. I just wondered who developed those shirts and put the artwork on them for you.
Oh yeah, so the artwork for the long sleeve we purchased from a company. I can't think of the name of the company at the moment,
Sorry.
but they had a lot of awesome artwork out there, and we wanted to incorporate the anglerfish in our merch line, but the one specifically from our EP cover just doesn't translate very well to a t-shirt graphic, just because it's so dark and in the
Yeah.
background, and it just wasn't working out. So I was like, how can I find a really cool anglerfish that will translate well for merch? And
Yeah.
we stumbled on that one and fell in love with it, and we went for it. So
Yeah, it's really nice, man. I like you've got a good range of stuff. You've even got like a drink koozie I see on the site as well. Various, patches. I like the Embrace the Unknown shirt as well. That's a good one. And the tank that you have, the vintage style tank, that's quite a good one for working out in there as well. So there's a real nice range with your artwork even on your merchandise as well, which I found very interesting. So coming back to the EP, the one to blame, I just wondered again if I know it's largely wrote by other members of the band, but if you could maybe share your interpretation, an idea of what that track is about, and also how you put the song together. I mean, the music together for the song.
yeah, of course. So the lyrics again, I'd say come from the loss of a person in your life that's no longer there. Music similar to kind of the themes in Love's a Curse. As far as the music, that song has a lot of old ideas, oddly enough. So like the main riff to that song we've had since we were in like high school.
Wow.
But it just kind of came back around, and we were able to get it to work, and yeah, I'd say it was very Trivium inspired at the time, like when we first had it. Then it just kind of we reshaped it to fit our current songwriting styles, and really happy with how it came out.
Yeah, definitely. So I know the EP it came out on actually not that long ago, on the 10th of November. So what have been some of you feel the most pleasing and accurate responses you've seen in the reviews so far?
I've really been enjoying people have said that it's our best work to date, and it's great to hear that, because that's my opinion of it. People have praised just the flow of the songs, and the technicality and the melodies and the groove, just all the elements that I see when we make the music. People have been noticing, so that's been really gratifying.
Do you think with having that range in your music with those different elements, do you think that makes it you more accessible as a band for people?
Yeah, so there's yes and no, I would say. So since we have a lot of elements, there's a lot of different types of metal fans that could be interested in it, but for all the same reasons, maybe some people might not be so interested. So there's, in my opinion, there's like a line there, because we don't fit in with, say, like we're not death metal, we're not metalcore per se, we're not power metal per se, but we pull in all these elements from all of these things and kind of make what it is that we do. So cats.
Yeah, just wait for the cat to appear again. It's okay. Yeah, random here.
Whiskers.
Yeah. So there's no middle ground there. People are either going to be get this, or there's too much here, there's too many layers, that this might not be for. But
exactly.
But as a musician, I mean, I'm not going to be a hypocrite here and say I don't like a lot of fast, raw, direct stuff that gets in there. Of course I do. That's kind of like some of my favorite music out there. But I'd imagine as a musician, it makes it more both interesting, creatively challenging, drawing from all these different elements. And you guys must already be thinking ahead to the next release, thinking, right, so how can we use this momentum, follow on, and put something together that's going to improve on what we feel is our best work today? That's a challenge within itself.
Oh, definitely. We're already kind of gearing up to start writing music again, and there's some ideas floating around. It's a little too early to tell,
Yeah.
like what direction it's going in, but we always write what we feel. It always comes from a place of pure creativity. We don't like try to write a certain way, so we try to make it as genuine and as genuine as we can.
Yeah, it's got to come from within, hasn't it? That passion and love, and put that into the music, and then hopefully other people enjoy that as well. And I'm guessing here, I'm going to try and not put you on the spot, even though as I'm asking this question, it probably does. But oh well, whatever. There goes that method. I'm taking a total guess here. Are you maybe looking at releasing something maybe halfway through next year or to the latter part of 2024?
Yes, it depends on how fast the songs come together, let's just say. But we're probably going to shoot for another EP, and my guess is either late 24 or early 25 would probably be the window.
Yeah. Get the word out about Deception, play some shows. Actually, have you got some shows coming up?
Yes, so we're actually playing January 20th. We just announced.
Nice.
It's kind of around our hometown, but we have a 4-band lineup for that, and my other band is playing as well. So it'll be my first time trying to do double duty, back-to-back sets. So that's going to be interesting.
Yes. So what's your other band called, Eric?
My other band's called Pagan Impaler. It's relatively new. I just joined about a year and a half ago, and we haven't even recorded music together yet. Because our main guy Sam, he writes and records everything himself, and then he kind of brought me and the other guy in.
Yeah.
So we're going to start collaborating here pretty soon.
So do you play drums in Pagan Impaler as well, or do you play a different instrument?
Yes, drums for them as well. Yeah. So, and I've never done a back-to-back set before. So when I booked it for us, I wanted to kind of challenge myself and see how it's going to go. So we'll see.
That's going to be a workout. I'm going to go. Well, what music do Pagan Impaler play? Because if it's very fast and heavy, that's going to be a workout for sure.
Yeah, it's they're like a black and thrash kind of thing.
Wow.
So I'd say kind of like Toxic Holocaust a little bit would be the most direct comparison I can think of. So definitely different than what Lower 13 does. So like Pagan's more just like fast, upbeat thrash, straightforward, whereas Lower 13's more proggy, groovy, more layers to like what the music does. So it's two different animals.
Man, you're going to be tired after that night. That's for sure.
Probably.
Yeah, it'd be like
we'll have to see.
Yeah. You got to get, you're giving it all over Lower 13, and then you're literally going to Pagan Impaler where you're going to have to stop.
Yep, opposite actually, Pagan, because Lower 13's headlining. So I'm playing with Pagan, and then my drums are still going to be on the stage, and then my other guys with Lower 13 are going to come up, and then I'm going to play with them. So it's going to be something.
Maybe in one way, and this is no disrespect to Lower 13 here, maybe then, because you've just done the very fast set, aggressive approach, give you a little bit of a relax, slightly, but now I've said that, probably there'll be someone in the audience show, play that again. Like, oh man.
Yeah, they're both hard in completely different ways, honestly. So I'm hoping the one will warm me up for the other set, and I can just kind of keep going.
Do you like that though, Eric? Keeping yourself open to different styles and playing in different bands, so you can get, like we were just chatting about with Lower 13, bringing in these different elements that keeps it like creatively interesting for you, and then playing in these different bands that play, I guess, polar opposite styles, but that must be really fun to do.
It is, because what I love about Lower 13 is like of the big mix of things that we do creatively, but what's fun about utilizing the other band is just that it's just different styles, like more straightforward, fast kind of, older school kind of riffing. It's just two completely different vibes. It flexes different areas of my playing. And my hope is that because of that, both bands will benefit creatively from me being able to exercise my drumming in different ways.
Yeah, they should complement each other and hopefully both grow, and you grow as well. Had a some guests say that who are involved with multiple bands say the same thing. It's excuse me, it's benefited their playing. It's actually improved it, and they've been able to adapt to different styles. Like if someone said, right, I want this particular riff or this particular rhythm, say in a in a drum or whatever, right? Yep. So no, that's cool stuff, man. Just to turn your attention back to Lower 13, I apologize, it's me, but we'll get the plug for your other band as well. So holding on to Misery. Oh man, there's a nice heartfelt track. That's really one to put on the Christmas card this year. Hey, I was thinking of you. I'm just holding on to that misery. So again, just as the similar question, if from your perspective, how do you view that song? And were the any fun facts or challenges in doing the drums for it?
Yeah, so with that one, at least my interpretation lyrically, personally, would be just trying to move past a conflict in your life, trying to not let it get to you and let it go and try and move past it. As far as the drums, yeah, that one was really hard for me. That's one of the more fast, intense double bass ones we've ever done. Faster tempo, just constant energy at the double kicks. I was kind of nervous for that one, but it's also one of my favorite tracks on the EP.
Yeah, a difficult, challenging one, but it's turned out okay. That's why I thought I'd put you on the spot again with that one, because I noticed and I thought and I wondered with the style as well. Do you like? But we were just talking about your other band there and playing different styles, etc. So if the other guys in Lower 13 or even your other band come up with something that is more challenging to play, is a difficult one, you think, man, I'm going to have to maybe approach this a little more patiently, really get this in my head, practice it. Do you prefer that rather than kind of being stuck doing a standard kind of style?
Oh yeah, definitely. The great thing about Lower 13 is that when my guys write the music, they challenge me every time we're making something new. They're always coming up with something crazy, and I often have found myself having to learn like a style of a drum beat that my bass player came up with that I never would have thought of, or just something that's just faster, intense, like that I have to really kind of sit there and work at to achieve it before we get in the studio. And I definitely felt this way, especially about our new EP, because a lot of the things on there are faster tempos than we've done previously, just way more technical than other things we've done. And yeah, I had to work really hard to get these.
Yeah, and I'd imagine when, and again, we keep talking, well, I do, I keep bringing this up, but it's relevant about different styles, different genres. Just when I was listening, I thought because it's bringing in all these layers, I thought this must have, like I was saying earlier, this must have been very exciting and enjoyable to do, but also a challenge because, you can get artists sometimes, and there's nothing wrong with this, with bringing in various genres, and it either doesn't quite work or they overcomplicate it too much, where you'll hear a song and there is so much going on, and it can go from literally one extreme to the other, where sadly that can turn people away, where like, right, this is too much because there's like 20 million genres within one song here, and my ears can't process it.
Yeah, for us, we it has to work organically.
Yeah.
Like we're not quirky for the sake of it. It's like we have our influences that come in naturally and organically, and that's how we write our music. So we would never just say like, oh, we're just gonna throw in this random avant-garde jazz part in here just for the heck of it. It's like, it always, it's never forced. It just comes through as it comes through. And we want it to sound cohesive, even if we are pulling in different things. It has to make sense.
Yeah, it has to flow and it has to be connected. I see that problem in gaming sometimes, where they'll throw in different parts and different genres within that game, and sometimes it can just end up being an absolute cluttered mess. Those are always such fun to play. Yeah, I'm not referencing some action RPGs at all. Yes, I am. But anyway, the closing track on the EP, you just left her. From what I think of that, it's something, I guess, that's talking about possible end of a relationship. Is that what the song's about? And did you have any fun moments doing the drums for this one?
Sure. So yeah, that one also deals with the loss of someone and trying to figure out kind of where you move forward from there. As far as the drums go, yeah, that one was another one that took me a little bit to get, just because there's a lot of that same pattern and so
Yeah.
much double bass footwork going on in that song. That took me some work at it to get the stamina up. But that was another one that ended up another favorite of mine on the EP.
Yeah. Do you feel that's a good closing point for the EP? Give fans something to remember so that they'll listen again and be excited for your future releases?
I think so. The way our albums and EPs tend to come out is whatever song ends up being the more anthemic or epic sounding song usually ends up being the closer. And it's not always purposefully so, but just when we try to track out the songs and get the flow of everything, it just usually ends up being that type of a song. So for this EP, You Just Left Her kind of ended up being that big chorus, kind of melodic, epic sounding closer. So I think it made sense to put that one last.
Yeah, it's always best to have a strong opener but a strong close as well, and I feel, well, a strong middle section too. Trying for people to try and avoid the filler, so it's not a song someone's all right, we'll just skip that. Curious as well, because some of the themes that you've discussed with me within the songs, and they hint at personal relationships, losing someone, leaving someone, for example. I try and behave myself here so we don't potentially spoil future music, but I guess are these things that you've always drawn from lyrically within Lower 13?
Yeah, for the most part, lyrics stem from personal experiences and feelings. There are times where we've written songs that tell stories or that were inspired by nerdy things. Even one of our songs was inspired by a video game, for example, like one of the ones on the earlier albums. But for the most part, the lyrics usually come from a personal place.
Yeah, is that, as we were saying earlier, is that because you want to put out songs that are relatable for people so that they can build that relationship with the band?
That's part of it, but it also just kind of comes from inspiration and writing style. Like when Pat, our guitar player, writes a good bulk of the lyrics, so when he writes, it's usually just often like how he's feeling or things he's going through, and then that ends up really relatable. And me on the outside end of that, like I always appreciate that he writes like that, because those are always some of my favorite kinds of lyrics. Like when I listen to a band, and if I can really dig in and relate to the message of it, it makes it that much more impactful, in my opinion.
Yeah, excuse me, folks. Yeah, it gives something for people to get their teeth into, for sure. And you've actually got an official video for gone mind blank, for The One to Blame. I just wondered, do you have any more videos planned for some of the other songs?
For Deception, probably not at this point. We were gonna do another one, but since we're already since it's already out there and for everyone to hear, we're probably gonna focus more on playing some shows and writing for the next one. We originally wanted to have a second video ready to go, but at this point, I think we're just going to get some ideas ready for the next release, and then hopefully have a couple of videos for that one.
Nice, man. Nice. So, got another loaded question for you here, Eric. What would you say is the most? I'll ask you part one first. What's the most exciting and rewarding concept being a drummer?
Oh man,
Put you
for
right in the
me,
spot.
yeah. So for me, I love playing and just the way music makes me feel. I love being a part of it. Drumming was my way into that because I just kind of naturally took to it, and that's the way that I'm able to contribute musically and be a part of this thing I love so much. So for me, it's so fulfilling to be able to be a part of music, create music, play shows, organize shows. It's yeah, it's a big part of my life.
Is drums something? Is drums an instrument you've always enjoyed playing? Does it just speak to you? Is there something about it that just really grabs you?
Yeah, so the funny thing is when I first started drumming, I never actually set out to do it. It was just
Wow.
something that I kind of fell into. But once I was in, I was hooked and just always tapping on desks and tables and
Yeah,
messing around with that. And oh yeah, I mean now it's in my DNA at this point, you know.
yeah, yeah, for sure, man. So, who would be some of the drummers that have had an influence on you?
For me, definitely Joey Jordison, Slipknot
Yeah, yeah,
was a big influence for me, still is. John from System of a Down, big influence for sure. Um, I've liked all the Trivium drummers pretty much. Uh, Grew up on their first drummer, Travis Smith, who was a big influence. Then I took a lot from Nick Augusto, their second drummer, and then now Alex Bent, their I think fourth or fifth drummer he is now.
yeah. It's been a few,
He just
hasn't it?
blows my mind and is always inspiring to me. Um, Lots of different things over time too. I'd say Disturbed's drummer had a huge impact on me, oddly enough. I wouldn't say I necessarily look up to him, but since I was a big fan when I was quite a bit younger, the way he plays just kind of really influenced and impacted my style as well.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's interesting here. So, the going to the opposite side of the coin of that question, what is the most frustrating thing about playing the drums? And do you get any moments where you're like, man, I just can't seem to lay this rhythm down, this tempo, it just won't happen? And how do you get past that?
Sure. So yeah, with drumming, setup and double bass pedals and all that kind of stuff can be really infuriating, honestly. Um, Especially when you're playing more intensively fast stuff, you have to make sure you're really comfortable behind the kit. So for me, especially the last couple of years, I've been really analyzing like how I sit, like how high my seat is, like
Right.
how angled are my pedals are for me to get the best feeling on my feet to where they feel even, to where I can execute all my parts efficiently, and not and when you go to set a drum set back up, you have to usually find those angles again, like the heights again sometimes, and yeah, that can be irritating, challenging. um my other least favorite part about it is carrying things to the gigs, because
Yeah.
naturally the drummer has the most to carry around, and I've tried to like lessen what I put on my kit to make it easier for me, but you know there's always the most to have to bring and set up and lug around, and that can be irritating at times.
Yeah. And how do you get past any of those moments, where you've got the kind of that? Because sadly, anyone who does anything in the arts, we all get that creative stumble sometimes where you either can't. Well, it's not that you can't write or play. You just don't seem to like anything you're doing. It's just like, yeah, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, this
Hmm.
sucks. And everybody's method, I've noticed in getting past it is different. Some will take some time away, others just keep going and work through it until it passes. Um, I find it's so annoying and frustrating when that does happen as well, because it's like, oh man, I just can't seem, and I can get terribly impatient with myself where I'm like, oh, I want this to pass now so I can start writing again. So as a drummer, I'm just wondering, how do you get past it? What's your method?
Sure. So yeah, I definitely find myself in those situations over
Yeah,
time and get stuck in my head about certain things. But But normally I try my best to get down there and practice. Like if I'm stuck
Yeah,
on a part or something, just keep going down there trying to get it. If there's
yeah,
something from like a gear perspective that I'm having trouble figuring out, I oftentimes do research. Like I'll go on YouTube and watch drum videos and things,
yeah,
watch people's advice and suggestions,
yeah,
and kind of try to translate that to solve any rut that I might be in.
yeah,
But I usually figure it out at the end of the day. You just gotta kind of keep keep working at it, try to keep a positive mindset.
yeah. Yeah, you've got to fight through it because otherwise you can then end up being like your own worst enemy, and then you can trap yourself in that cycle and not move out of it. Just got to, and it does pass. It's interesting that you said you mentioned posture when playing drums as well. So, um, so it's good that you good that you were emphasizing, keeping good posture. And I imagine that's not only good for the health and fitness, but maintaining a good position for you playing as well.
Definitely, and especially with double bass, like there's so many factors that can
Mm,
like go into it and affect how efficiently you can play. So really, like the most minute angle you're sitting at, or the way that your pedals are angled, or the height of your seat, or any of that can just make it feel off or not as comfortable as it should be.
mm,
So like these are things that I'm finding that I'm paying more attention to and trying to like come up with ways to where I'm like more consistent, like finding my preferred settings and finding ways to consistently set them up in the same manner.
yeah. Just a bit, if we can find a way as well for making the transport of kit to shows and setting them up easier, that would be a good one as well. I wonder if anyone's come up with that yet.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of guys they have their own drum rug that they'll bring to the show, so that way that's like the one that they play in the practice space. So then your kit will feel the same on it, and then they have it like taped up, like to mark like where certain things go, like pedals and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So I think that's what I'm going to strive towards. Like once I feel really good about a placement and confident, I'm gonna take my rug downstairs. I'm gonna tape
yeah,
it up, bring it to the gig, and then hopefully that'll get me feeling close to my preferred settings.
yeah, definitely, man. So I've got to ask you some nerdy questions as well. I mean, Godzilla on a t-shirt, DC in the background as you're talking earlier. So I've behaved myself so far. That's the disclaimer. So I haven't seen the trailer for Godzilla -1 yet. Have you seen it? And what did you think of the recent Godzilla movies as well?
Sure. So actually, the reason I'm wearing this shirt is because I'm going to the theater to see it later today.
Hey, hey, man, hey.
Yeah. So I have seen the trailers. I'm honestly really excited about it.
Yeah,
It looks great. I love the design of Godzilla because he kind of has some inspiration from the Heisei era movies, which are my favorite. The ones from like the late '80s to mid '90s,
yeah.
and the story seems interesting too
Mm,
because it's centered around like Godzilla's first appearance.
yeah,
And the only movie I can think of that really did a retread of that was Shin Godzilla from 2016, but it was in the modern era, not like post World War II Japan.
yeah.
So it's cool to kind of see them do a retread of that with modern effects and visuals and storytelling. So and the reviews out there I've noticed are great for it. So that excites me as well.
Yeah, I thought this was interesting because they're looking at his first appearance and it being set, as you said, just post World War II, and I thought that was quite interesting because I've watched a couple of the animated movies that have been on Netflix recently, and some of those series, and they haven't been too bad. I think there's a trailer for Kong Empire as well, which I haven't watched yet, I believe. Um,
Yeah, that's I saw some teaser images actually today about
yeah,
that. I think that movie comes out in April
right.
here in the States, but I don't know if there's a full trailer yet.
Right. Okay, it might
But
have been
that'll
a
be cool.
teaser. So then, yeah, I'll have to peep that. So I was watching Mad Max Furiosa trailer, which um, I'm a little like that about at the moment. some of it looks great, and then I'm just, I don't know. But we'll see, we'll see. If it makes me eat my words, I love Mad Max Fury Road, so we shall see what happens. So coming to DC, got all the Batman miniatures there in the cabinet that you showed us earlier. So is Batman and the whole Batman verse some of your favorite characters from DC?
Oh yeah, definitely. I've loved Batman since I was a kid. When I
Yeah,
was like in my formative like single digit years, I was watching Batman the animated series, and then Batman Beyond. So like the Bruce Timm,
yeah.
Kevin Conroy
Oh
stuff
man,
is
yeah,
like my quintessential Batman.
yeah,
Um, and I've been a fan ever since, seeing the movies and everything. Like I saw Batman Forever was the first movie I saw when I was like 4, like the first
yeah,
Batman movie I saw. So so yeah, my love really stemmed from those things, and the Kevin Conroy BTAS universe is still my
yeah,
favorite Batman stuff today.
yeah. Same man. I mean, I've got to plug Batman hoodie again. Yay! But yeah, I've got a lot of the animated movies on DVD as well. Everything from Batman Ninja, what is it, Gotham by Gaslight, pretty much all of them, man. Um, and I like Red Hood as well. Red Hood's cool. Pretty much anything in there. Well, Batman and in the Batman verse, I guess. Are there any other characters outside of Batman that you like?
Yeah, I like a lot of other DC characters too.
Yeah,
Like I like the Flash quite a bit,
yeah,
and
yeah,
Green Arrow I like quite a bit as well.
yeah.
I watched like the Arrow show back when that was
Same.
on, and always liked his animated appearances too.
Yeah,
And yeah, I like some Marvel stuff as well. I watched the MCU pretty religiously throughout the first couple phases through Endgame, and Spider-Man is my favorite Marvel
yeah.
character.
So I've got a few. Sadly, MCU post Endgame I don't feel has been very good. It's not quite done it for me. Was one of the characters you mentioned? Oh, Flash. Flash movie sadly wasn't too great either. I watched the series though. I watched the entire series, and yeah, those early seasons were great. And I thought Arrow as well. Deathstroke in Arrow, I thought was fantastic. He was absolutely awesome. Manu Bennett as
Yeah,
Deathstroke,
he was great.
absolute fire. Even had me thinking at one show, man, this guy should get his own series. He really should. But yeah, fantastic. There is a really good. I can't remember the name, but I'm sure you'd find it on YouTube if you've searched. And it's from some years ago. Somebody did a Deathstroke fan series, and there's about 6 episodes, I think, and it's actually really good. Really well done for the character, the effects, and the budget they've had. So it's well worth taking a look at. I just wanted as well, coming back to Law 13. Do you have any other merchandise or anything planned? That's coming out that's going to help the Deception EP.
Yeah, so actually we're working on spoilers at this point, but we're working on a new T-shirt design for the next show. So that'll be cool. I'm looking forward to that. And then actually in April we have a big anniversary of one of our albums. Our second album, Reach an End, is 10 years old in
Nice.
April. So we're cooking some activities for that one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's got a nice cover as well. That's the one where it has the tree and like all the lights and the lettering, and almost looks like a paved kind of road where it's literally saying reach an end. You've got to that end. It's really cool. Even going back to Rabid, which has like that. Well, if we're talking about Godzilla, has that like really old school monster feel in the cover as well. So it's nice that outside of the music, you definitely show your other interests as well that come through in the artwork. Being a nerd myself, that's always like, yay, for me too. So that's awesome stuff.
We're always trying to be okay, what fits thematically, lyrically for a cover, what would make cool merchandise, and then what color palette have we not used, or that we can do different from the last time.
Yeah.
So those are always things that inspire the art direction.
It's why I always start the conversations on the show with looking at the artwork, because sometimes you can see an album cover and you'll get an idea. You'll think, oh, it represents this, that the artist is trying to say this, that, and the other. And you talk to the band, and it's something completely different. There can be a whole other meaning or reference to it. And I'm like, man, I never thought of that. So it's always interesting to do deep dives on that area as well, just for that reason. I just wondered whenever I get to the end of the show, as my throat is really starting to give me some trouble, I always like to give guests the opportunity to promote anything they'd like, obviously the band, and your other band as well, Viking Impaler, if I remembered that right. No, it's not Viking Impaler. Because was it Pagan Impaler?
You got it, Pagan Impaler.
Pagan Impaler. That made me think of Vikings and stuff, because I thought at first when you mentioned it, I thought Viking metal band. Oh, see, nerd. But yeah, if you want to promote both bands that you're in as well, shout out any shows or anybody or anything at all. The floor is yours.
All right. Well, for Lower 13, of course, our new EP Deception is out. It's on all the streaming platforms. We also have CDs, limited supplies of CDs through our web store that you could get. Upcoming merch soon. That's new. Our show in January 20th in Maple Heights, Ohio. So it's kind of outside of Cleveland, Ohio. That's the gig where I'm playing with both bands, and that'll be a fun one.
There'll be some good stories from that.
Yes. And then Pagan Impaler, we're writing some music together. I should be recording my first music with them this year, so look out for that. I think that's all I got.
Yeah, that's nice, man. So it's a bit busy year ahead. Definitely let me know how that show goes, because that will be, I'm sure you'll have some interesting stories from that, man. And I hope the Godzilla movie is good as well later. I need to check that myself. I've been hearing good things about it. So, yeah, I hope you enjoy that. But, man, it's been really good talking with you. Hopefully we get to chat again as well.
Definitely. Really appreciate you having me on and chatting about the band.
Oh, you're welcome, man. I absolutely welcome. So, folks, I will be back tomorrow with another episode of Fed Up, chatting to Never Reborn. So don't forget to follow Lower 13, support the band and order the music as well. Subscribe to the channel, stay up with everything that's going on. Reach out to me if you want to come on. Everybody take care, have a good night, and I'll see you on the next episode. And it's an uncomfortable pause moment where I hit end stream, there's delay, and I look like I'm possessed. But yeah, let's go.